Hi there, Aquarius, and welcome back to Bon Echo Tarot. I am here with your Blood Moon Eclipse and Mercury Retrograde report. These have taken me a long time to do. Mercury has really been messing with me, but that's okay. But I'm exhausted. Only two more to go, you and Pisces, and then that's it for this one. This one is especially intense because we've got an eclipse starting a Mercury retrograde. That doesn't really happen very often. So I have put together some notes. I've gone through the notes of my favorite astrologers, Astrology King, Astro Mojo, Michelle Knight, and Aquarius papers. Some of them I've been reading for several years now, and I really appreciate their insights. You should check them out if you're interested in astrology. But the consensus seems to be pretty much with everybody that this eclipse and Mercury retrograde deal is about the closing of an old chapter and getting ready to step into a completely new one, and a significant one that's going to last for quite a while. I think it's like, next 7-year cycle kind of thing. I'm not an astrologer, I'm just fascinated by it. It's literally an infinite subject. So in terms of, all of us are like approaching the threshold of this new chapter right now, and we're doing it together. And what we're probably finding out in our various relating with one another is that as we leave the past behind, there are still things that are kind of stuck to us, things we don't want to let go of. So this eclipse is meant to shake things up a little bit so that it facilitates unstucking everything. So at first it might seem really uncomfortable, but in the end, it's going to be better for you. If you look back to February, maybe around birthday time, you might be seeing a little bit of similarities in the energies that are around you now. There's only 5 eclipses this year, but we've got 3 of them, boom, 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 in the summer. So this is the very midpoint of all of that. And because it's eclipses, we're dealing with contrasts, which creates tension, but it also brings out creativity. So while we may be frustrated in it, there is purpose in it. So the sooner that we can hop on that and get into what the tension is trying to tell us, the faster we're going to get through to those lessons. It's definitely a time to be mindful and present with everything that's going on around you. The stuff to watch for is that Mars is giving us an extra boost right now so that we've got the confidence to move through these changes, but it's also pumping us up so that it's easier for us to lose our temper. So just watch yourself, watch how you're interacting with others. If you create a mess now, it's going to probably take a lot longer to clean out, just because the energies are definitely are in this major shift. So you want to keep it clean from the old stuff and make space for the new stuff. So it's really a grace under pressure kind of time. But we do have Venus softening some of the effects of Mars, kind of taking the rough edges away and enabling us to accept renewals, rebirths in love, as well as in abundance and wealth in terms of how it's coming to us. So that's the global scene. How is it playing out for Aquarius specifically? Well, as I said, there's 3 eclipses this summer. So we've got the first one happened on July the 12th, and that happened in your house, your astrological house, your 6th house of health and daily routine. So you may have noticed some things at the beginning of July that were kind of shaking things up in your day-to-day, and that led, those things would be leading into the energies of this eclipse, which is in your 1st house. So that's about your identity, your image, pretty much everything that you define as you. So Aquarius, which is fixed sign, but likes change. So it shouldn't be that difficult for you. The third eclipse is on August the 11th, and it's happening in your house of partnership, the 7th house. So that's also the same house that Mercury is going through. So you may be focused and reflecting on a past relationship or a current relationship, but everything within your relationships is now up for review. So, what does this mean for Aquarius? Well, at the worst of it, you may have a few things that are testing you in terms of staying calm in a crisis, specifically. But on the other hand, it's definitely a time for dreams, not action. No action should be taken on anything until, at the very least, after the next eclipse, which is the 11th. But really, you're probably going to want to wait until after the 17th of August, when Mercury then goes direct. So, other planetary influences. Well, the Sun is actually bringing you some ego challenges because it's Leo season. So and Leo and Aquarius are on opposite signs of the zodiac. So while Leos are getting all pumped up from the Sun and they're shining bright because it's their birthday, Aquarius is kind of having to face their own shadow. Mars is giving us all energy, but Mars is also adding a little bit of courage for any of the changes that you may be apprehensive about. Uranus, just like always, is going to bring disruptions. That's Uranus's job, and but these disruptions are going to be signals to you as to the right decisions to make and the right choices that you need to make to be on the proper part of your path. But Mercury Retrograde is going to bring you through that, so don't resist that. It'll be disruptive, but it's going to be productive towards whatever you're moving towards. Venus is supporting your family relationships. So if you've had any challenges in there, that'll be a nice relief. And Jupiter is pushing you not so much in terms of doing things or accomplishing anything specifically. Jupiter is pushing you to change your perception around what the horizon is and how many different directions. So you may be limiting yourself, which sometimes fixed signs can do that. It's like they see reality between here and here. And anything outside of that is just, So I think that's all the notes I have in terms of the astrology. So let's go to the first reading, which is looking into insight as to the energy of the eclipse for Aquarius first. We'll do Mercury Retrograde afterwards. So, looking for insight for Aquarius for the July 27th blood moon eclipse. Do it. Okay, so Aquarius. Oh, that's nice. I'll tell you in a minute. Well, it's looking pretty good for you. need I say more? The hidden ground here is happiness, the sun, optimism, a really bright perspective on what your future is. So, I'd say that's pretty good. So let's start at the start of the reading. In the center of the spread, we have the King of Cups. So this is a very mature, loving, nurturing kind of energy. I've been thinking about this whole, the dynamics of the energies right now, and it's all, in terms of what we're all being challenged with, is reason over passion. And not to limit the passion, but to not let passion get out of control. So this would be the epitome of that. Where there's a balance between reason and what's reasonable and what we can manifest with our passion. This could also be a significant man in your life who is a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. In the obstacle position is Temperance. So maybe you are having a challenging time keeping your cool. So I'd work on that. Count to 10, go for a walk, do everything you can to stay in a calm, tranquil headspace. At the bottom of your reading is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is about holding the purse strings really tight, and it's also about keeping things to yourself until you're ready to share. And whether it's money, whether it's ideas or thoughts, it doesn't really matter. It's all energy. In the past position, we have the Queen of Wands. So there could have been a woman, a mature woman, whose inspiration has had an effect. This also could be you. You could have been acting out with more passion. That there's been, that in the recent past that you've had more of a fiery nature than an airy nature, like Aquarius is an air sign. So there's that. What's crowning you now is the Fool. So you're trusting the process, which is good. Just don't lose your temper, and you should be all right. But you're ready for a new journey. It's not going to happen for 3 weeks. So don't think that there's anything wrong with that, or that you need to do anything differently in order to accelerate that process. This is very much about staying in the moment and not getting ahead of ourselves until we have all the information that we need. In the near future position, we have the Magician. So this is manifestation. It's, but again, it's kind of like it's the alchemy prior to it becoming material in your life. So you're definitely in that place. Stay in the alchemy of it all. It's going to be your saving grace. And for the most part, I think you are keeping your cool. For the most part. You may have had a weak moment, maybe through the eclipse, and maybe it wasn't all that bad, but your thinking is very clear. You are thinking about things, you're being logical, you're being reasonable, and from the highest point. In your environment is the World. So a lot of people have been getting the World card through these readings because this is a full circle. We have and it's it's the end of the major arcana, so then we start the hero's journey all over again with what? The Fool. So you're definitely in rhythm with whatever is happening right now in your life. In your hopes and fears is the 10 of Cups. So you're hoping for emotional fulfillment for you and everyone in your family. You know, this is you got it all kind of thing. And then the final outcome is the 10 of Pentacles. So you've got two, you know, you're hoping for this, but not only are you likely to get this, but you're going to have material security too. So not only will you be emotionally fulfilled, and there's still tons of family around, and it's a wonderful feeling. So you're definitely headed in a phenomenal place, and then the background is you're happy. Holy cow. It doesn't get much better than this, Aquarius. So I would imagine that through these eclipse energies, there may have been a second or two, a hot second or two, where tempers kind of were, you know, in a place where things might have gone south. But I don't see there being any great shock to your situation right now. So let's move into the Mercury Retrograde energies, which, as we looked before, will be in your 7th house of partnership. So that's what your focus will be for the next 3 weeks. Retrograde. Insight into Mercury retrograde for Aquarius. Uh-oh. Okay, so what wanted to be seen here? The Devil, the Moon, the Queen of Wands, and the 6 of Swords. Oh, I think I'm just going to wait for the spread. It's kind of all over the place. So the first card will be what's under review for this Mercury retrograde period. So what is under review? Okay. So what's under review is your strength. How strong do you feel? Can you tame the wilder aspects of yourself in a good and sacred way? Yeah. So perhaps your perception of yourself is that you're not as strong as you would like to be. There also could be a Leo in your life, and that's the relationship that you're reviewing. So let's get to the second card, which is the best advice on processing the changes. There we go. So, the best advice for processing the changes is the 4 of Wands. So, the 4 of Wands is about partnership and celebrating it. Celebrating, building foundations together within your community. Yeah, so really examine, spend that time with your partner, within your community, within your family. And how you can balance each other's strengths and weaknesses together is what I'm thinking. And let's get a glimpse of what's coming. Building foundations and working together towards a common goal. So this is all about, it's possible too that you may be working with your partner. You may be starting business together. And it's about being strong as an individual that contributes to that partnership equally. So this is the planning stage, the blueprint phase of whatever it is that you've got your sights set on for this new chapter. So I hope you found that helpful, Aquarius, and I thank you for your shares, likes, and subscribes. Please feel free to comment if this reading resonated for you, and thank you for your support. I also would offer that if you are looking for a private reading, you can reach me on Facebook at Bon Echo Tarot and send me a message through there. I'm just kind of getting started. And I will also be posting articles, probably for the most part, on Mercury Retrograde, because it seems to be my thing. So, at any rate, thanks again for joining me, Aquarius, and we'll see you next time.